Hey, Ty Livesey here. If you feel like your agency or freelance business can't scale, you are probably right. Now, last week I worked maybe 2 or 3 hours on all of my service delivery for all of my clients and my agency. I've got in and around 25 to 30 clients at any given time. And I was able to do this without hiring a massive team. I do have a team in place, but it's not a massive team. And it was really just because I learned the science of leverage. There's a science to this stuff. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how I was able to make my workload almost nothing, which is really, in my opinion, a requirement if you want to scale your freelance or your agency business. You either have to work with extra premium clients and be willing to take the trade for your time, or you have to take a lot of clients on board but make the delivery virtually zero. And that's what we've managed to do using our system that I'm going to walk you through in this video. Now, before I actually implemented this, I was at the ceiling with my business where I felt like I wanted to double or triple or 5x actually the number of clients that I had on board, but it just wasn't possible. Like I just could not see a world where I took on more clients. And in fact, I stopped reaching out to new clients because I felt like the whole thing was shaky. Like the whole thing was going to come crashing down at any given moment. And the reason that was because my clients were liabilities instead of assets. And I was running this model that kind of worked against itself. So what a lot of freelancers or agency owners, what they do is, I'm going to draw a little graph here. This is an awful graph. Let me try that again. They close a new client and their income increases, right? So this line is your income. But what happens is your time to deliver the work also increases. This is time. And as a consequence of this, your motivation or your capability to scale decreases. So every time you close a new client, you have less capacity, the amount of time you spend working on service delivery goes up. So the amount of like free time you have to actually grow the business, we can call this F, goes down. What happens is you create a market equilibrium for yourself. And I'm not going to get too much into the economic stuff. I have an economics degree, so I love doing these little graphs like this. But what happens is this model can never scale. It's always going to reach an equilibrium because you are the bottleneck. The business needs you to survive. Instead, what we've done is we've designed a model where for every new client that comes on board, so this is income, the amount of money I'm making. Let's actually do a dollar sign. That would probably be easier to understand than this really crude graph. For every new client that I close, my income increases, my time stays the same, and because of that, this is really almost like free money. My motivation to scale increases tremendously with every new client that I close. It's like a better and better deal. I'm making more money and I'm not working more. It's like, why wouldn't I want to take that trade? This is something that can scale to 6 figures or multiple 6 figures. This is something that is self-regulating. It can literally never scale. So the challenge is how do you actually design a business that doesn't look like this, but instead looks more like this top guy here? And the obvious variable is time. We need to make your service delivery involve you in almost nothing, which is a big ask. A lot of people, they're terrified of that because they think that either means delegating and like they don't know how to hire, they don't know how to trust people and like how to actually quality control that, how to get people who are actually going to be a good fit. Or they're just worried that they're going to have to build a big team and their margins are going to go to zero. But we've actually found a simpler solution. We still do those things, right? I have a team that helps me with a lot of stuff, but it's really about automating two things. One is the onboarding process, and the other is the client education process. And most businesses don't have a client education process, and because of that, all of their clients are liabilities. The truth is that great clients are built, they're not born. So if you don't build these clients and you don't have a system to build these clients and train and condition them to be great clients, what's going to happen is they're going to be liabilities. You're going to have to spend all your time dealing with those liabilities, and you're going to build this backwards model that can't scale. So there's two parts to that growth thesis there. One is we have automated onboarding. Two is we have a client education process that basically makes them great clients. Now for onboarding, what I would recommend is Typeform. Build a Typeform that's incredibly detailed, that is going to collect all the information that you and your team needs. You might not even know what questions to ask. If that's the case and you run a social media marketing agency, DM me on Instagram. I'll share the onboarding form that we use so you can just copy it. Have an automated onboarding process. Otherwise, what happens is when you close a new client, your workload spikes by like 3 to 5 hours to onboard the client, your motivation dips, and it just creates these like really inconsistent blips. This puts you on a roller coaster where you can't just do marketing and sales. And the goal with an agency or freelance business is that you're like the chief scale officer. You're always doing marketing and sales. Your job is just to like grow the business and make a few key strategic decisions across the team. So for that to be possible, we need to get you out of this feast and famine cycle. We need to automate your onboarding so that when a new client comes on board, it takes you 5 minutes of your time to set up whatever communication you need, share your client education process with them, and send them the onboarding form so they can actually onboard themselves. Now, the other part of this is the client education process. And this is about more than just saving time. This is about creating great clients who stay on with you really long term, clients who are easy to work with, clients who are going to bring you a ton of referrals, clients who are going to get amazing results. A lot of people, what they do is they expect a client who isn't an expert in your service, maybe doesn't know anything about your service, to just trust you. And they think because they've paid you that they trust you. But because they've paid you does not mean they necessarily trust you. What you really need to step into is your role as a guide. You need to guide your clients through the client experience. A lot of people don't do this. They take the money, they send the onboarding form and say, good luck. And because the client doesn't feel secure in their knowledge because they don't know what they're doing, why would they? That's why they hired you. In their insecurity, they try to fill this gap by reaching out to you and breaking your process. They try to change the strategy. They try to make suggestions. They try to get you on their systems. And it's not that they're awful nightmare clients. It's just that you haven't given them a reason to trust you. You're simply asking them to trust your way of doing things. And again, just because someone's paid you money or bought your thing, that does not necessarily mean that they trust you. There's more education, there's more conditioning, there's more training that needs to be done for your clients in order for them to be able to say, hey, I trust you, I trust your way of doing things. Like, just tell me what you need to do. That's the dream, right? What you need to do instead is you need to create client trainings. And I'm not just talking about like 1 or 2 welcome emails. I'm talking about, for us, it's an hour of course content that clients watch through when they come on board. And this is kind of a weird idea. For an agency, we have a course that we ask our clients to consume. But what this does is this gives them an hour of context. This is an hour of me selling them further on our way of doing things, showing them client results, teaching them how we work, and getting them to really trust our process. 40% of those client trainings are just evidence that they can trust us. Because someone's bought from us doesn't mean they trust us. And I don't ever want to ask a stranger or my existing clients or anyone to trust me. I want them to see the truth in our process. I want them to see so much undeniable proof and logic that they are going to be like, Ty, you clearly know what you're doing. Do whatever you want. Just tell me what you need. And most people don't do that. And because of that, they work with nightmare clients who aren't really nightmare clients. They just don't have the direction. They just are insecure. You're just not guiding them well enough for them to be good clients. Oftentimes, they're just reaching out, lashing out, becoming problems because they just don't know what they need to know. And it's an information gap is all it is. So we created an hour of client onboarding trainings. If you're interested in this, again, send me a DM on Instagram. I can send it to you. I don't have it pulled up for this video. I should have done that. But send me an Instagram DM and I can share all of this with you. But these trainings make it really easy for us to work with these clients. And it is the reason that I've been able to not have to spend all day working hands-on with my clients. Like most of their big clients have already been answered by those trainings. They trust our way of doing things, so they don't ask questions. They don't bring me someone else's strategy and say, hey, can we do this instead? They just really trust our way of doing things because of that information. So if you're struggling with scale, if you feel like the business model you have right now literally cannot scale, what you need to do, 2 big action items for you. Number 1, build a client education process, onboarding trainings that give them all the information they need to know how to be good clients, sets all the expectations, tells them explicitly what does success look like, things like that. And also, you want to make sure that you have automated your onboarding so that it doesn't blip hours on your schedule. You need it to take, like, my standard is 5 minutes or less. If it takes longer than 5 minutes, it becomes an obstacle. If it becomes an obstacle, I'm not going to want to close more clients. And I am going to build a business that looks more like this mess versus this mess. Hope this video was helpful. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.